Hey, what's up? This is Jonny McBee, and you're listening to the Burn This World podcast. Yeah. Sweet. Well, we are back with our boy John, and has some crap changed since we've talked last?
Little bit,
Little
just a
bit.
little bit.
Yeah, I mean, last we talked, you guys were just putting out the newer Last 10 Seconds of Life record.
Yeah, which I still am happy that everybody is enjoying.
Yeah.
Please.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was a good record, and totally super solid, and I'm excited for their new stuff even, and
Me too, actually.
even more excited about all the stuff that you are doing though, and that's
Yeah, man. Me fucking too.
yeah.
Me too.
I mean,
I just recently got back from Japan. I was out doing a vocal audition with the metalcore outfit Crystal Lake. For anyone who's not familiar with that band, definitely go check them out. They're fucking sick. It's like deathcore Ghost Inside is the best way I can put it. Like
yeah, and I mean they are have slowly becoming one of the mainstay metalcore bands. Like if you get on like metalcore subreddit and all that sort of stuff, Crystal Lake's always one of the most talked about bands.
yeah.
And so the potential is through the roof for you. And so I kind of have a similar situation because I joined as Blood Earns Black through an open audition back in the
I
day.
remember that.
Yeah, and so I can understand the kind of this excitement a little bit. And so but to be fair, Crystal Lake is much cooler than this Blood Earns Black. So like
Blood
yeah,
Runs Black is still really sick though. I love his
it's
Blood
true.
Runs Black. Like
Yeah, and the thing was like that was such a catalyst that catapulted me into everything that I do now. I didn't last long with them just because personalities, but nonetheless, it made me who I am. It made me do
Word.
the Browning as it is, and so like what? So they're still currently in the middle of the audition. You guys just did live shows and everything.
Yeah.
How antsy are you feeling about this?
Actually, I'm totally zen about the entire
Okay, sick.
thing. I like when it first happened, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna go to Japan by myself and all this shit." Because I'm used to everybody else booking the trip for me and just kind of like showing up as you do. But once I got all that out of the way, it got really calm for me. I am kind of feeling like whether I get it or not, I've done so many first things during this audition, like for my life, and experienced so many cool things, and through this that I almost am just like I feel already like a winner. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like every winning step that I get after this point is just like an extra on top of something that I'm already feeling happy about. I've never been to Japan. Last 10 didn't take me to Japan. The leader of Last 10 didn't take me. The label didn't take me. Deathcore didn't take me. Nothing. It was just a band who liked my voice and they were like, come across the world. And it's kind of like enough for me almost, and then to go to a place where they don't really speak my language, up front and still be able to have a blast live and control the crowd in a way and have just a great sense of welcoming on stage and through the fans. It was super heartwarming. I went to other shows that weren't even hours and people wanted to take pictures and stuff. And it was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
I fucking
that's
loved it. Like,
that is a totally different experience than any other like show tour experience. That's like a hey, by the way, come over here, and then you're like, okay, like because everyone wants
okay,
to go to
yeah.
Japan too. It's not a place you get to go that often. So how was Japan itself? What do you think?
Bro, my favorite country I have ever visited, and I don't mean that in any disrespect to all the other places that I've been, because I love all the places I've been to.
Yeah.
Something different about everywhere really grabs me. But just the country of Japan in general, you can romanticize the fuck out of it for sure. They have a lot of really cool things that we don't really get to have over here in excess. Like obviously we have automatic doors and stuff like that over here, but almost everywhere
Mm-hmm.
over there the doors open automatically, which is fucking sick. I kind of like really love that. You don't have to touch a lot of stuff. The car doors open by themselves on cabs. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's everyone's really polite and friendly. Venue bathrooms, dude, you can actually like they're you can touch the floor with your hands. Like I'm not even kidding.
Right.
It's clean. There's not bodily fluids everywhere.
Mm.
You just learn a lot. You learn respect in a different way, and I
Yeah.
loved it a lot. for an outspoken person, you would think the rules might drive me crazy, but I loved it. I wasn't smoking, which was great.
Heck yeah.
It was such a change, but now after I'm home and I haven't been smoking for a little bit, I'm sorry, it just feels like awesome,
It-
to just have a little bit more of a clear head and to realize like, wow, like I can still function in these different ways. It was great. I can go on forever about all the things I loved about it. I learned so much about myself, them as people, their culture, their music, the city. Like, it was great.
and
I
what's
ate
what city
the
were you
best
in?
food. So I was in Tokyo, but specifically I was in Shinjuku and Shiburu City. Excuse me if I say that last one wrong, guys.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, you'll get used to it because you'll be living over there here soon.
Hopefully, hopefully.
So I mean, if this does pan out to where you do make it, like, would they straight have you live there, or would they just be flying you around?
So I think I would be more of a tour expense up front.
Yeah.
Essentially, maybe down the line, depending on how busy things got or how often, you know what I mean, it would would determine. Like, for example, if there's another COVID shutdown, I'll probably have to move there. You know
Yeah.
what I mean, like to be a major part of the band, so at least we could play shows
Yeah.
in
Exactly.
Japan.
Hmm.
But I don't think they're looking to force anyone to move to Japan unless it's needed. But I am completely open to the idea.
Yeah.
So we did talk about it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It was definitely something that we had a lot of really long nights. They do a really beautiful thing over there where you go out and everyone just kind of talks and sips on sake and drinks and eats all night. I stayed up till the sun comes up like a handful of times, which I haven't done since I'm a kid.
Yeah.
So it was nice to just talk business and learn, and
Yeah.
it was great. Yeah, they're really understanding dudes, really cool guys.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting when they announced the auditions was that they didn't care about your nationality, your age, your gender, nothing. They just wanted everyone to just give it what they got, and that was the
Yeah.
best way to do it because like they probably got some really freaking weird submissions, but also some really unique submissions that
Yes.
brought a lot of options to the table.
Yeah. No. Really, really, a lot of people did. Some people did outside the box stuff. You even had people who didn't cover songs at all and just straight up wrote their own songs to the instrumentals tracks. Like
Yeah.
they had a ton of fun doing it. It was a lot of fun. It
Yeah.
was really cool.
Yeah, and it's fun. Whenever I did, you mentioned a minute ago, it was just cool to have some like another band like recognize your voice and want to have you come out
Yeah.
to do that. Whenever I did the open audition for As Blood Earns Black, they released an instrumental they had people do it on, and I was 18 at the time. I didn't even write lyrics for it. I was just like rah rah, ah, rah, rah, like doing that, and somehow they came back to me and was like, "We really like your tones, but can you write some lyrics?" And somehow that worked out. And dude, I mean, this is just something that's so cool and it's so different from what you were doing before, but it shows like the strength of your voice. So I was talking to
Thank you.
Keem about it, and whenever I was first realized that you were doing it, I was like just thinking, I was like, I don't know if John necessarily fits the bill, That was the first thing in
Yeah.
my head was like your tones and the
Too
personality
heavy.
and look, everything. And so I was like, I don't know if it necessarily fits. But the second I saw you jump up on the stage and you're first screaming that song, I was like, dude, this is perfect. Like, did it
Thank you,
feel
bro.
did it
Thank
feel
you.
natural?
Yes, it did actually, and exactly what you're talking about was a thought that came across my mind. So like when they first announced the situation, I think it was September 28th, and it took me until like October 1st to really be like, I'm gonna fucking do this. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because I had a I had the same thought. Like, am I too heavy? Is my personality, like my stage personality, like too much for the idea of what they're doing? And then you go watch the live videos, and Rio comes out like, "What the fuck is up?" And I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, this is great." I was like, "Let's go." And you listen to the other songs, and they're rapping and stuff, and he's like, "I got 99 problems, but my bitch ain't one. Hit me." Like, and I was like, "This is definitely shit I can do." I
Yeah,
was like, "Let's fuck around with this." I was
definitely.
like, I can do this. Let's party. And then you notice that they all sing in the band.
Yeah.
So it's not just Rio who sings. So you know what I mean? There's all sorts of vocals going on. So that also gave me the confidence to be like, all right, I have enough singing capability besides screaming to mold into this situation. Let's see what happens. And
Definitely.
it was fucking great. I had such a good time. I did things with my voice on certain songs that we haven't been able to release that I covered with them that I've never really heard me do.
Yeah.
And it was fucking great. Like,
Yeah. And I think it really was, because the one thing I said about your voice when I was talking about it is like you do have like a really strong, like straightforward scream. You do have the capabilities of doing the gutturals, and the one thing that you do like well that would probably put you over anyone else is like the pitch yells that you can do.
I agree.
The capabilities that you have of doing that gives a whole nother level that other people might not be able to touch. And so there's a lot of uniqueness there. And I think that I don't know, man. I think you got it personally. That's just my opinion,
I
but
I appreciate you. I really appreciate you. I am saying over and over that the universe unfolds as it should, and I am trying to stay peaceful and calm about it.
yeah,
So far, the whole thing has been really fun. I do have a little bit of that, that imposter syndrome in the back of my head, like, oh my god, do they like me? Like, do you know what I mean? Should I like this picture of people falling off bikes and crashing into trees? Maybe I don't want to do that. Like, do you like worry a little bit? But um, yeah, they were awesome. One of the
good.
first things they said in the stipulations was that they wanted somebody who was going to treat band members and family members of with equal respect in the band, and that was a really big selling point for me, considering what I personally felt I was coming from. So to see that the first, be the first thing, I felt like, okay, this is cool. Like even if somebody in the band is a boss, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? At least they're already stating like we need someone to be respectful, because that's the first thing that I am looking
yeah,
for right now. Like, I want someone, like I don't care how much of a boss we got to be, like it's a job, you know what I mean? But like if I have concerns and I want to be like that makes me uncomfortable, address that. Don't be a
yeah,
jerk, like,
for sure.
So that was nice.
Yeah, yeah, and just to be straightforward about the working order of things is always good.
Yeah. Having a schedule maybe like a couple of months in advance instead of getting a call like a month and a bit like, hey, you want to go on tour for 3 months? Like, sure, dude. Like,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, having something and having it all pre-planned and having someone that really takes proper control and not be a douche about it is
healthy.
definitely important. And
Healthy.
yeah, I mean, I think that I really do think Crystal Lake. I mean, even before he quit the band, they're always one of the up and comers, and so I'm very excited to see what happens with it.
Me
Um,
too, dude. I can't wait to write with them.
yeah, dude. And how'd you feel about the crowd over in Japan?
I loved it, dude. It was sick. I felt like they felt like they were mine.
Hey, what's up? Here in the middle of the episode, I went to edit and realized that we lost like probably 15 minutes of me and John talking. So just gonna skip right forward to where we picked it right back up. But sorry about that, just some error in the program. So let's get back to it. And so yeah, I mean, it's good to see. And this is talking about uh issues with you might not just get along with the people that you want to. And that's just how it is with a band. It's a much more it's tough being on the road. It's tough being crammed into a van. It's all very difficult, especially people in their mid to late 20s, it's just
Yeah,
bound to
that
happen.
don't want to change. Yeah, sometimes you
Yeah.
go through things in life that change you, and it doesn't change the people around you, and then that sometimes makes it hard for you to mesh with them. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean that people are bad.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that anything wrong. The things you might do to each other might be bad, but just because you feel like you can't get along with someone
Yeah.
anymore doesn't mean you're a shit dude. If
Hmm.
you continue to be a shit person and make it worse and worse and worse, and you don't try and at least ignore the situation to the maximum capacity for everyone's benefit, then you're a dick. And that's what we dealt with. Like,
Definitely. And so rotating into potentially joining like an established band with members that have been there forever and being the new guy or whatever, like how are you going to rotate into this and like make sure it's in a better light and in a better position and like you know
that's a great question. So considering the size of Crystal Lake and their team already, there's a lot being done that I used to have to do in last 10 that I won't have to do
yes,
here. So my job is more minimalized. Like essentially in
you're going to
Crystal
be a
Lake, if I were
vocalist.
to get right, if I were to get the job, my job is to show up, grab the microphone, sing these songs,
Yeah.
don't say anything ridiculous, write the songs, go home. And in last 10, it was a little bit more than that. I had to make a brand, I had to make the music videos, I had to think of merch, I had to, you know what I mean? What am I going to say on stage? Can I say this? Like I had to build the identity of my vocal, this, all this, but I have all that now.
Yeah.
So to go into Crystal Lake is like, if they speak to me, I'll tell them. And if not, then I'm just going to continue to do my thing, because they clearly got it under control. They
Yeah.
don't need my 2 cents at all. You know what I mean?
And
Like those guys are very smart. Even talking about how we're going to move forward with the vocal audition situation was incredibly smart and something that most bands would probably be like, I don't want to spend that extra time to do that. But what they're going to do is going to cause them to do better. So,
Hmm.
you'll find out how the vocal audition went soon enough because they have a really cool idea for it.
Yeah. And I think that man, it'd be a blessing to just get to play your instrument and not worry about things. Like
Yeah, dude, it would be really nice. I'm gonna have the potential of being in a band and working because I want to,
yeah.
not because I have to. Like I used to be forced to work when I came
Uh-huh.
home from my previous projects because we weren't compensated
Yeah.
properly
Oh,
for
for sure.
whatever reason,
Well, and
So
also it's like money in any relationship, whether you're talking about like a a relationship, a
anything, yeah.
personal relationship, or a business relationship, or a band relationship, money is the number one cause of divorce. It's the number one cause of this stuff. Like money's tough, and so we're getting with a band that has that figured out and has that on lock is going to be probably a stress that you are so happy that you wouldn't have anymore.
Because Crystal Lake is actually an LLC because it
Hmm.
allows me to have transparency in the finances. I don't have to ask someone, "Can I look at your bank account?" I can just go do it.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, and so that's awesome. And so like I mean, dude, because I one thing that I was thinking about with them, like say they did pick you,
mhm.
for it, like having American, I honestly feel like they are kind of going towards wanting to be a more American based band, anyways. Eh,
Yeah, I get the vibe that they want somebody to be able to communicate a little bit more straightforward with the rest of their audience. YD and Mitsudo have the they're really smart guys. Those guys can speak English. Like TJ speaks English, Gaku speaks English. Like so that all those guys can speak English, but they are definitely more geared towards Japanese. So it's easier for those guys to deal with all of that. And if they had someone in the band who could possibly deal with the English portion of things a little bit more, it might free up a little bit more of the questions of like certain fans have, like what is going on or what is happening. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because then you'll have someone in the band that kind of does both. And that being said, I'm taking classes for to speak Japanese. I
for sure.
start on Wednesday, so I'm gonna be learning as much Japanese as I possibly can. Because right now I only know like the vocalist phrases like "akemashita," and I'm like shit to like yell at people to go crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
that's all you need, though. See.
yeah, no, absolutely, that really is all you need.
Yeah. Yeah, and so that's really cool. I mean, it would be because Eskimo Callboy did like an open audition thing as well, or Electric Callboy did an open
Oh, work.
audition too, for their new vocalist that they had, and I was like, do I submit? But they're all German. They speak German in all their videos. Like, I don't know. I felt like that's what I thought was so interesting about this Crystal Lake thing. Um,
So I think the language thing actually deterred dozens of vocalists. I
mhm.
think people who had the capability of doing this saw that number one, they spoke Japanese, and then number two, that they wanted you to speak Japanese, and they were like, never mind.
Yeah.
But me being the kind of guy that I am, I was like, fuck that, I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, nah, I'm gonna do it anyway. I was like, if they like me, I'll go learn Japanese. I was like, this is the future. You know what I mean? Like, I'll figure
Definitely.
out the language. Like, I'm not stressing that. So I just dove in there head first. Like, I was surprised not to see. I'm not gonna name drop names, but there were a couple people from the deathcore scene who I was pretty certain was gonna do it, and then I didn't see them do it at all. And I was at the same time I was like, but at the same time I was like, yes, because like it would have definitely been harder.
After they dropped the first video, because I didn't know that they were doing it so quick. I saw them drop it, but I didn't really, they dropped the whole first video of the auditions and stuff. I sent them a
Yeah.
DM. I was like, "Is it too late?" And yeah, I mean, it's just like there is so many people that would fit the bill, but I mean, I think that you definitely would have a very unique vibe. And I mean, the last time we talked, you were even talking about what sort of project you would want to do.
Yeah. When I left last 10, I actually kept trying to start a band with dudes, and it was very difficult because it's hard to find exactly what you want. But I kept telling people that Crystal Lake was one of the bands that I wanted us to sound like. So it was kind of cool that this happened. I kept being like, like bands like Crystal Lake, like Vatican, like Landmarks, like really fucking heavy, but like also will sing and play piano. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like,
exactly. Like the Browning, right?
right. Exactly. Like the Browning.
There you go.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, I want to play fucking air hanger shows, bro. Like, let's go.
Yeah,
Like,
and I mean that was one of my big things about whenever I was with His Blood Runs Black, and because I was writing Browning music at the same time. Whenever I was with His Blood Runs Black, it was straight up deathcore, metalcore, and I was like, I want to do something bigger, more unique. I wanted to do something that like went off the wall, and so it did feel limiting being just like, okay, this is gonna be straight up like metalcore forever, and
yeah.
and I wanted to create something more unique. And Crystal Lake has some of the most unique, interesting structures, breakdowns, like that sort of stuff. They're off the wall whenever it comes to that crap.
Constantly trying different things, and that's one of my favorite things about them is there are so many elements of their music and their songs where they will do something completely random and new. Like, for example, the song Aeon, there's a vocal gap in the middle of it where he's doing a lot of
Yep.
gutturals, and you would think as a regular vocalist, like, oh, those are words, I got to figure it out. But he's actually not saying anything.
Yeah.
It's just doing gutturals, and they have ideas like that scattered throughout their music.
Yeah.
They and I love. It seems like they do a lot of. I have this idea. I've never heard anyone do it, and then everyone in the room is like, "I love it," before they even really kind of hear it, type thing, because
Yeah.
no one's heard it. And if you've ever been in a band with me, anyone could tell you like that's something you will hear me start a sentence with all the time. Like, yo, I had this really cool idea. I've never heard anyone do it before. And then usually everyone is like, oh my God, here we
There
go,
we go.
dude. Like,
Yeah, well, that's what you got to have to stand out. You got to
yeah, agreed.
even if it's silly. I mean, the first person to do a pig squeal, do you think they felt like an idiot? You know,
Right. You think the first person who did tunnel vocals
right?
felt like this is the sickest thing ever, or the whistling screams? They probably felt like I sound a little corny. No, they were like, "Nah, I'm gonna make this as sick as I possibly can, so that other people catch on to it."
Exactly.
Like it's exactly how screaming kind of became to be the way it is now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
whose grandmother loves the way we all sing? Like, let's be honest. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
everyone's got to push it up to another level, especially going into
yeah,
the modern world with crazy production, crazy capabilities with live production.
that's right.
Because that changes a lot too. You're not just yelling into a mic. You got proper effects, you got in ears, you got everything. So,
Correct. Yeah, and actually having in ears on stage is fucking
oh
fantastic.
yeah,
Because like we were not how can I put it? We were not privy to doing things like that in my previous act. So it was really nice to step into a situation where they were like, "Yo, bring your in ears," and I was like, "Oh God, thank you." Fuck. Like,
yeah. Dude, in ears changed me forever. Just because it stopped me from blowing out my voice. That was the big thing. Uh,
yeah. So the live set that I actually have playing behind me, which is the live set for the Crystal Lake audition, that's my first time using in ears in a live setup. And actually it was a little different for me. It wasn't hard, but I definitely yelled a little bit harder than I normally did,
really?
and it caused me to be like slightly out of breath. So I mentioned this to Manaka the next day, and he was like, "Yo, do the set with one of them in." And
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay, that's really not a bad idea." So I put one of the ear races in one ear, threw it behind my shirt, and the same thing with the in ear and this ear, and I just went on stage, and I was like, oh wow, I was like, this is a fucking major
Yeah.
difference. And you can even in all the videos that I share of night two, the vocals are fucking way better because I hear everything a lot more like the way I'm used to. It's not
Definitely.
something where I'm like adjusting to how does it sound? Is the front of house mix in both of my headphones? Like, so I
Yeah.
still like the way I did on the first night, but the second night is
Definitely.
really good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is. The in-ears are definitely something to get used to, especially when,
for sure.
we're used to playing small little VFWs where you could barely hear yourself at
But
best.
this is your in ear all the time, and you're
Exactly.
like,
And
yeah,
so,
exactly.
like, for me, the main thing was just not trying to project by not having enough in the monitor. So I don't put
Right, of
crap in the
course.
monitors. It's just straight in my ears, and I just trust because it's like for me in my in ears, I get almost just a straight raw tone, even though I'm sending like effects out to
Okay.
them. And so it's like I'm just trusting that it sounds fine out there, but as long as I can hear that I'm like saying words, like that's what matters.
Yeah, I kind of have the same thing. I have a very dry tone in my in ears. I would like to try to mess with that a little bit more because I do want a little bit of the live
Yes.
front of house in my in-ear so I can tell when my high end is matching the high end of the
Yes.
PA, so to speak. So it makes that like, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Exactly.
But yeah, in my ears, it's just me and Gaku. I get guitars and everything, but I prefer just drums. I want like a lot
Mhm.
of hi hat, and then just I follow the drummer.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, literally the only thing in my ears is synth and vocals.
oh word, okay, yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
feel
the
you. Yeah, everyone's got their
exactly.
ticks. Like everyone's got everything that they need, like that
Mhm.
you listen to.
Yeah, and so that's sweet. Yeah, it's gonna be a whole nother ball game. You jumping into this whole nother level of production, and
But
yeah.
see, man,
Well,
it's gonna be really
but
cool.
the thing is, like, even if it's not this, the next thing you do, you're gonna be
I agree.
like, you're gonna be already making that happen. You're not gonna let it stay down there because you've experienced this. You've seen how
Yeah,
it is on that level, and so that's so sick. And man, I'm excited to see what they do next with it, and I'm excited to
you
see where this
you
goes.
are gonna love it.
Yeah,
You're gonna what they decide to do next is gonna be really awesome, and you know it'll let everybody know who the new singer is gonna be. But it's gonna be very, very, very cool, and I'm really excited for the future.
yeah,
I'm just, and again, even if I don't get this, this has been a lot of publicity in general, and the same thing for the other singers, any of the vocalists, either of us, any of us that don't get this, this has been incredible publicity for us as musicians. You know what I mean? Whether
definitely.
you're a brand new musician, you're somewhere in the middle, or somewhere on the the way up, like this is gonna make everyone turn around and be like, well,
Yeah,
look at that guy. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
for example, there's only the one kid, Raphael, who's doing the audition. He's the only person in Japan who got picked to sing on this audition.
yeah,
That's fucking sick.
yeah,
Tokyo in itself is 10 million people. You know what I mean? So like to be the only singer out of the entire country of Japan to be chosen to do this audition, whether you get it or not, is fucking
yeah.
ridiculous, and
That's
no one
awesome.
can ever take that from you. So like every one of us has that kind of situation where like we get to say to another band that like this is, you know what I mean, I am not just
Definitely.
nobody. Like
Yeah,
I have some rep, I mean, I have something under my belt.
yeah, for
People
sure.
have noticed me.
Yeah, and where's the other dude from that made it?
So Matt is actually from Texas. He's from a band called Deathmouth. I know him previously. I've worked with his other guitar player previously. I was gonna work with his band a little while back, but when we had spoken to each other, the things that they were asking me to do for them, I felt like they already had it under control. So
Yeah,
I didn't want to take their money like most
right.
people would. So I was
Exactly.
like, oh, you guys are good. But that's actually how we wound up meeting. I think Matt did 2 or 3 days with us with Deadmau5, his band. They did
Yeah,
like Arizona and 2 days in Texas with us or something. Um, a while ago. I think it was the Browning tour, to be totally honest with you.
it might have been.
Uh, yeah, I think it was when we were on tour together. But that's how I know Matt. And Matt's a really cool dude. He knows other people that I know, so that was fun to be in Japan. And also one of the people that I'm singing with is someone that I already know, and it's someone that knows my language. So like,
There you go.
I can make jokes we can make jokes to each other about our country, and like people understand.
Yeah,
So like this is a weird thing. So him being from Texas and me being from New York, there's a lot of Spanish and Mexican
yeah.
heritage in the area. So he was talking about how like, yeah, I'm constantly by accident, I keep talking Spanish to these guys. And I was like, bro, me too. I was like, I keep going to ask for water, and I'll be like, agua. I'll be like, fuck, they don't speak Spanish. Like, why do I keep doing that? Like, and it's just because we're so used to talking Spanish to
Right.
somebody that like it just kind of like like not English, Spanish. So like, wait, no, Japanese, sorry. Like,
That's funny because it's stuff you don't even think about. Like I
yeah.
mean, they probably don't even got no Mexican restaurants over there, do they?
The what?
They probably don't even got no Mexican restaurants over there, do they?
Actually, they do. There was a
Really?
Mexican restaurant right by my house, and I sent it to Monaco. I was like, "Yo, look at this restaurant." He was like, "You're gonna eat Mexican food in
Right.
Japan?" He's like, "Why, dude?" And I was like, "Look how sick it looks." I was
Right.
like, "What do you mean? It
There you
looks
go.
dope." I didn't eat it, but it looks sick. Like I never went there because I went ate tons of other food, but
What was the
like
best thing you
it
ate?
was what?
What was the best thing you ate?
Oh my god, dude, it's hard to even say. Everything that I ate was better than the next. The ramen, the
Oh
ramen
yeah,
was unbelievable. But like, I ate so many different things that I wouldn't eat in America. Like, I ate fish guts. I ate
fish guts.
fried intestines. I ate grilled skin. I had raw chicken, which was
Bro,
fucking delicious. The raw chicken was unbelievably good. It tasted
interesting.
exactly like sushi. Came apart my mouth like whitefish. It was banging.
Weird.
Uh, Yeah, it was really weird. That the first night, YG was like, try the chicken," and I'm looking around and they're all telling me to try the chicken, and because they're all telling
You
me,
thought they were
I'm
pranking
thinking
you?
to myself like, I feel like this is gonna be a joke because everyone wants me to eat it. But then everybody started eating it, and I watched them all do it, and I was like, okay. And YD looked at me again, and he was like, "Try it," and I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna do it," because I come from a household where like you're
Yeah.
not allowed to say you don't want to try it,
Right.
and I love food and trying new food. So once they made me feel comfortable about it, I was like, "Fuck it." So I picked up my chopsticks and I grabbed it. I put wasabi. Gaku was like, put wasabi on it and a bunch of soy sauce, and I did it and I ate it, and it just like fucking
Weird.
literally like sushi, bro. Came upon my mouth like fucking sushi. It was banging. I couldn't believe it. It didn't. It wasn't like you think the way chicken is gonna be in your mouth raw. You're
Mm,
like, you know
yeah,
what I mean?
definitely.
Complete opposite, like complete
Yeah.
opposite of what your brain is gonna tell you it's gonna be.
Yeah.
And it was dope.
Now all
And from that
the
point on, I ate anything they gave me. Like
everyone on the western side of the world do not eat raw chicken. Apparently that's
correct.
only
Yes.
a
Do not attempt to do that. You can't eat raw chicken in America. You can only
yes.
eat raw chicken on that side of the world. They do something special to it that allows you to do it. Don't pull out chicken breast from Walmart and be like, "Ma, check this out. I heard John from Less 10 do it." Like, this is not Wilk. Don't do it. Like,
Definitely. Yeah. That's interesting that they can do that. Fish guts though, like how was that prepared? What do you
so that was actually on a skewer, and what they do is they just kind of like skewer the intestines, I think it was, and then they just grill it. Really, like they just turn it a little bit. It definitely has a different taste to it. It's not a taste that most Westerners would like. I was also told that by one of the band members
yeah.
that most foreigners who come in, this is not something that they like. They really dig the taste of.
Yeah.
But it was really just like a gamey, fishy barbecue.
Really?
The best way I could put it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Um, it's definitely a familiar smell in your nose. You know what I mean? Not necessarily the smell you would put with food, but once
Right.
it's coupled with the smokiness and the
Yeah.
char, and you toss a little wasabi on it and all that, like
It's
it's
good to go.
fire. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, in my opinion, if if 10 million people are eating it, like it's got to be good. Like, I
Right.
just got to figure it out. Like,
Yeah. And we had the similar thing in whenever we went to China, we had a tour manager over there that was a Chinese tour manager, and he would take us to dinner and he wouldn't eat, and we'd be like, "Why aren't you eating?" He's like, "I'm going to a real Chinese place after this. Like this is where we take the Westerners."
yeah, dude, I love the idea of going out to eat and sitting down and drinking and eating all night. I stayed up until the sun came up like a handful of times, and that I haven't done that since I was like, God, fucking 12 years old, bro. Like, and it's just the way the culture is, and you don't even realize that it's happening because food just continuously comes out. It's not like in America where everyone gets a plate.
Right.
It's just like they bring out a couple of dishes and then everyone grabs a
Yep.
piece and you talk and you drink, and they remind me of it reminds me of My Better End. They just remind me of those dudes. Like they're just partying and drinking all fucking night and having a good ass time and laughing and joking. And there's all these, they're playing drinking games and yelling at each other, and it was fucking great. It reminded me of MBE. Just I just couldn't understand what they were saying half the time, but it was fucking great. Like I had
Yeah.
such a good fucking
Yeah.
time.
You
You know,
seem super energized. You seem like this is invigorating your soul or something.
dude, yeah, because it's amazing to be back in a situation where fuck, I don't want to sound like a dick, but I'm allowed to have fun.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's okay to do something. Like there's not this entire. You don't feel like the principal's watching.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can put it. They want you to enjoy yourself. Like they got me pissed drunk and then started asking me a ton of questions about what everything that I do means, and that was great. We had a
Yeah.
beautiful conversation. Like, and again, regardless of if I joined the band, it was such a learning experience and such a beautiful thing that I can't wait to carry this to my next band or just into my
Into
next part of
life.
life.
Yeah.
Because I'm not even in the slightest bit worried, not even in a cocky sense, like
Yeah.
just in the fact of like I'm already on top of the world. Like
Yeah,
you know what I
dude.
mean? If I don't get it, I'm not going down. It's already killing. I'm already having a great time. Like,
Well, I mean, you look good and
thank
you
you,
sound
bro.
happy, everything about it, and so I love to see it. How was going to China for us? It was the first time that I experienced actual like culture shock because like if you go to Europe, you're just another, fat white dude walking around,
Word.
And I go to China and there's 20,000 Chinese people staring at me in a train station like, look at that giant,
Jesus.
And so how did it feel going there? Have you experienced culture shock like that before?
So because of the heavy Asian population and heavy Asian
Mm.
community in New York City, I didn't really feel a lot of culture shock. It felt like I was in Brooklyn the
Okay.
whole time. Literally, I took videos at some point, and people from Brooklyn would hit me up like, "Bro, you in the city? What's chill?" And I'm like, "No, bro, I'm in Japan." And they was like, "That's Japan. It looks like you in the hood." And I'm like, "Nah, I'm not." I was like, "No, wild. It looks like."
That's
So
hilarious.
it felt very normal. I definitely I played with the idea of me having a lot of tattoos and them not being used to it because
Definitely.
before we played the shows, I wanted to see how intimidating am I to the society. So I walked around town with my hat
Oh,
off
there you go.
and all my tattoos out, and I walked around for like 2 hours and just would make eye contact with everybody, and no one really wanted to play that game with me.
Definitely.
So,
That's funny.
so I guess I was a little bit more culturally shocking to them than they were to me.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, at one point, I definitely walked into a corporate building thinking I was walking into a mall, and I'm like full on walking around, and I'm like, I keep seeing signs for stores, but I don't see any, and everyone's in three-piece suits.
That's
Feel like
hilarious.
I shouldn't be in here. I made it to like the third floor, and I'm like, there's definitely not a mall in here. I'm not supposed to be in this building. I have to leave. Like,
That's hilarious. And real quick, my dog's outside barking. I need to go let him in. I'll be right
yeah,
back.
do you think?
Never mind. He was inside barking at my baby because she just got home.
Oh, that's adorable.
um,
Everyone keeps telling me about their kids, man. I'm fucking jealous of all you motherfuckers. You're all fucking dads.
right. I mean, COVID.
Awesome.
Bunch of
Many
babies popped
COVID,
out.
you know?
Yeah, babies popped out during COVID. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's the new baby boom.
Yeah. And yeah, we got that too. We were in these Chinese train stations and people we would just like look over and there'd be someone walking up just like their kid would be standing in front of us and they'd be taking a picture of their kid standing next to us. It's like they
That's
just see
funny.
us they
They know.
yeah.
They can you look at you they're used to a lot of the Western celebrities that come over there. So like sometimes when you are in a group and you look like that, people wind up taking pictures. I got warned of that by a couple of friends of mine who had traveled there. They were like, people might want to take pictures with you. So, like
Yeah.
don't be shocked or anything. And I was like, oh, okay. It didn't happen, but I was,
Yeah.
I was warned
Yeah,
about
they
it.
were just like taking pictures and it kept happening where they would have their kids go stand in front of us like these little like toddlers and I asked the tour manager, I'm like why do they keep doing this? And he said honestly that might be the first time that kid's ever seen a white dude in person.
Wow.
Yeah, and so and because we're in like
Documentation.
yeah, we were literally in like Royal China at these train stations and stuff, and
Wow.
so
That's
it's
cool.
definitely a weird thought, just because we to be put in such a different space, and that's just a learning experience you can't get besides doing something like this. So
For sure. I think for me, the only culture shock thing that I had was for fuck's sake that I miss lemonade. Oh my god. Like I remember turning to Matt at one point and I'd be like, bro, I would fucking kill someone right now for a lemonade. And he started dying laughing and
yeah,
I was like for a god, dude, or a Sprite, fuck. Like
anything, right?
because they have soda and stuff over there, but like I don't know what it really is. So like I
Hmm.
don't want to be that dude in fucking in 7-Eleven with my Google out, like, you know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, one thing that I was getting real annoyed about and was that in China they drink hot water instead of cold water. So with
Oh,
you sit down with your dinner and they give you hot water. And I'm like, dude,
yeah.
please stop.
So scientifically, and I learned this from Mike Tyson. I know that sounds really ridiculous to say, but I learned that drinking warm water actually helps burn fat.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So I think it has something to do with that. But I love how in Japan a lot of the places you go, not a lot, but there are places where you'll go sit down and eat, and there's a fountain at the table, and
Oh, dang,
you
that's
just
sick.
fill water like,
That's nice.
and and they automatically, how like most tables come over to you with a glass of water, they will come over to you with an empty cup for you to get water, and they bring you tea. And,
Yeah.
that's it. If you want something else, they have alcohol. They might have soda or nothing, but you pretty much just get water
Yeah.
and you do your thing. One of my favorite things over there is the way they eat soup. And I swear to God, I'm going to do this here in America. So if you eat soup with me now and you're annoyed, I don't care. So they do a lot of slurping over there.
Yeah.
The soup is like, and
Yeah.
I'm the fucking king of wanting to slurp my fucking soup. And I've been yelled at my whole life by girlfriends, my mother, my father, my grandmother, everyone. Like, stop slurping your soup. And then you go over there and the whole fucking country does it. And I was like,
There you go.
immediately, I was like, thank you, and just slurped everything. And I was like, I'm never not slurping again. You guys can all fuck off. Like,
There you go. It was meant to be, dude. This has been
yeah.
you've been waiting for it. Yeah, and so you're like I said, everything about you right now is super positive. Just
Want to keep it there,
your
man.
yeah, your energy, everything, and like you said, you look great. How was your weight loss?
It was fucking. I felt like I only lost like 10 pounds or something like that, but I did eat. I didn't eat the way I did when I'm home because when I'm home, I do a lot of legal American medication. We'll put it that way,
Yeah,
and that's not a thing over there. And you don't want to try to do that over there at all. So
definitely.
like when you get there, you learn real quick that like this is you can only drink beer here. The
Okay.
end. Like so that being said, it's an adjustment on your eating habits. So for the first couple of days, I was almost like making myself eat. Like I would
Really?
be hungry, but you don't have this like incredible urge to eat. So like you're not eating the same way. So it was definitely, I lost like 10 pounds. I'm below 280, which
Dang.
is where I was when I first went up. So it's the first time I'm below 280 like ever in my adult life, which is also
Yeah,
cool
that's
now.
sick.
Um, but yeah, I want to stay on that kick of not eating as much, and I like eating with chopsticks because it forces you to.
Eat
You
slower.
can't shovel food into your
Hmm.
mouth. You can only put so much in your mouth at once. And
Right.
oddly enough, when you chew less food, even though you're eating slower, it's almost like your mouth has more time to taste everything, and it's
Definitely.
less busy chewing.
Hmm.
I know it's a weird concept, but like, yeah, my mouth was always so busy chewing and less busy tasting, and now I put less food in my mouth because of the sticks, and I can taste everything more. And
Heck
it's
yeah.
like I fucking love it. So I ordered a shit ton of chopsticks, and they're gonna be here soon because I'm gonna stop using my soul.
Now, did they? I've been to Japan. Do they do the toilets with the hole in the floor, or is it normal toilets?
So it's all everything that I experienced was all westernized toilets.
Okay,
There are definitely, from what I've heard, there are places where you will experience the old-fashioned toilets, but they've because they have noticed all the tourism and whatnot to their country, they
true.
have all switched over to the westernized toilets.
Yeah.
But every single fucking toilet is way nicer and way cleaner than any American public toilet you've ever sat in your life.
Yeah.
Like, not only are 90% of them heated, but all of them
Hey,
have a debate and a lot of them lift up on their own, which is
really?
great.
So
And
you
a
don't gotta
lot of the
touch it. That's
toilets,
nice.
yeah, and a lot of the toilets actually have a sink in the top of the toilet seat. So what happens is when you flush, the water just goes on and you can wash your hands and you don't have to turn around and touch something. You can flush and wash automatically because it's coming out. So there's not this whole flush the toilet, touch a sink, wash your hands, and then touch the sink again. Like,
Yeah.
and the doors open automatically. So there's not this whole cross contamination thing
Right.
happening, which is great. I love all that.
You
That
feel
was
like you're in the Stone Age when everybody back in Florida?
Oh my God. Not that I feel like I'm in the Stone Age, but you definitely notice all of the American trends as soon as you come home. Like one of my favorite things about there was there's a side of the street to walk on in a specific direction. And the same thing has to do with when you go down escalators and walk in
Yeah.
hallways and everything like that. So you catch on to that real quick as soon as you show up. And once you catch on to that, you're like, this is fucking great. I'm never like, excuse me, ever, because you're just all always walking in the same
That's
direction.
nice.
Even with escalators, people will only stand on the left side of the escalator and the right side is for you to walk down. And as soon as you get back to America, people are just like in the middle of the escalator, you know what I mean? Like, and no one gives a fuck. And you're just like, yeah, like, welcome home, dude. I'll just stand here and go fuck myself while you
Yep.
fucking take a nap in the escalator. Like,
Yeah.
like, and it's people, and you notice how rude everyone is right away. You notice when people ask you to like excuse me, you notice in America, as soon as I got here, people were like, oh, excuse me, I just have to do this. Like you're giving an excuse for like, may I step past? And over there, there's not this excuse.
Yeah.
It's like semi and people move over, like, oh, I'm sorry, like you're allowed to go past. There's not this excuse of like, why do you need to step past me?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so that was really nice too, the just the courtesy. they don't really have a word for this over there, so it's hard for me to explain because after I said it, I learned that it's actually just very proper American slang. Um, but they have a lot of fucking class in Japan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And really what that's slang for is they're just proper and well put together. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We use it more of like an actual word here in America, but they don't get it. So I remember trying to explain that to them. Like it was just Japan is just well put together. They care. Everyone's in a three-piece suit. You could have, a crosswalk that's Johnny, like it could be 8 feet, bro, and there cannot be cars for it could be 2 in the morning, not a fucking car in sight, and the light is red. People stand there and wait for the light to turn green. And also, this is the craziest thing in the entire world. All the walk signs are green. Go
Yeah.
figure. Why are they white here? And it clicked in your head. You're like, yeah, why do we use white? Like everything is like it's red and green. Where did the white light come from? Like, what the
Right.
fuck is this? Like,
I mean,
you're like, why
they
is everything white?
it seems like they really got a lot of things optimized. I mean, they're one of the fastest growing economies in the world. Like they got it going on there. And I
Yeah.
think biggest city in the world too, maybe Tokyo, most
They,
populated.
very, very packed. Yeah, we went to a lot of really, really awesome places. It's definitely a place that I cannot wait to visit again. And would love to go back to
Heck yeah.
regardless of what I do.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's one of my favorite places I've ever gotten to visit. Like I'm excited about this entire trip, regardless of the band. It's been so much fun, that regardless. So
Yeah.
it's also helped me put into perspective more of what I want to do with Hate Church, like because I always wanted Hate Church to be like a play on words for positivity and make
Right.
it a sanctuary for people that are in pain and need a fucking place to be, like because we're not alone. People hurt, we're
Yeah.
together. And I kind of feel like I have a better vision and a more understanding of that.
Yeah.
And I don't want people to worry and think like, oh, like John's gonna be positive now, here we fucking go, all my angry vocalists aren't angry. That's not the truth. I'm still me. I'm just learning what to do. I'm just learning what direction and what way to channel my anger
Yeah.
instead of it just being so outright like the way it was in the Sabbath.
Yeah.
I still am going to have my edge
Yeah.
always, but I want people to understand that when I say welcome to Hate Church, it really means welcome. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It
Definitely.
doesn't mean fucking break somebody's nose and go to the hospital.
Yeah.
It means maybe break your hand on a pole because you're moshing too hard and go to the hospital, but
Yeah.
not hurt somebody, go to the hospital. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, one of my favorite sayings ever, it's just from one of my friends I grew up playing music with, and I was recording one of his random projects, and he said it as a lyric, and it has always stuck with me. And he said, positive change driven by anger. And
yeah,
that really stuck with me because it's like you can be angry about something, but create positive change out of it.
correct. Because if you're angry enough about something, it'll will you enough to actually do the right thing. And you can, and I am definitely upset. I won't say upset. I am immensely disappointed with the majority of society around the world with how we treat each other and how we react to people and how words speak louder than actions
Yeah.
now. And it doesn't make any sense to me, because I grew up in sticks and stones will break my bones, but
Mm.
words will never harm me, and
Right.
that actions speak louder than words. And now in my adulthood, all of those people who are, doing that with me and teaching me that thing are now kind of doing the opposite. And
Definitely.
I want people to like, I want you all to understand, dude, that like, you're gonna always be mad.
Hmm.
You're gonna be mad, you're gonna be sad. You have to take the good with the bad, but we have to learn how to be people.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
have to, it's not like we all have this mentality that like following certain rules is a bad thing. Like following rules is not a bad thing. You don't have to work your way around it. If everyone followed the rule, it doesn't become a rule. Then it just comes the way of life. And then you
Exactly.
don't feel like you have to do it. It's just how you fucking do it. And that's why all of Japan is like that, because they're not like, I don't want to follow rules. It's just like, word, we're going to do it. Like,
Yeah, exactly. The greater good. 100%.
yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, everything about this is awesome. And so, from here, like, are you doing stuff in like currently, or are they discussing like what's the process right now?
So I can't really say too much out front, but
Yeah.
right now, basically, there's a giant meeting happening
Oh,
between the
okay.
band and just all of the
Yeah,
agents and
of
the
course.
crews of how they're going to move forward with everything. Because if anybody who's been following along, this has created a lot of media attention.
Mhm.
So they're gonna play ball. You know what I
Definitely.
mean?
Oh,
So
for
they're
sure.
gonna they're gonna figure out how that's gonna
Yeah.
work, and then they'll figure out how they're gonna tell everybody.
Good. Well, yeah, it's turned into they've done it better than anyone else. Like I said, there's multiple bands that have done this in the past, but they've put more effort into it than anyone else, you know? And they've turned it
Yeah, this has
into an
been the
actual show.
most right, exactly. This has been the most fun and TV show oriented vocal audition I have ever witnessed in my entire life.
Or even just
So
metal band thing in general. Like even it wasn't a vocal edition. They're doing more to make this entertaining on mass than anything that anyone's done.
yeah, it's like making the band for fucking
Yeah,
metalheads. It's
exactly.
crazy. It's really cool. So they're gonna try to, I think, squeeze that rock as much as we can, as you
Gotta do
should.
it.
You
You
know what I
gotta
mean?
do it.
So we have gone through all final stages and whatnot, and they have further plans to announce to everyone how they're gonna announce a vocalist, which
Good.
is gonna be a lot of fun.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I freaking can't wait to see it, and I don't know, I kind of want to just even no matter what happens with this, I want to hear what you're doing vocally and musically, and maybe me and you
For
can sit
sure, dude.
down. I'll just write you some music straight for you, exactly what you want, and then you can just have whatever you need.
That'd be cool, dude. I want to do fucking angry Nickelback.
Hey,
If I'm gonna pick a band, I wanted it to be the angry Nickelback. Like that's what I want it to be. Like
I can back that. That's sick. I mean, your voice. I mean, you can
hell
do
yeah.
anything. Your voice is all over the place. You're good. You got it.
Thank you, bro.
Heck yeah. Well, again, everyone needs to be, if you haven't watched the Crystal Lake stuff yet, you need to go on their stuff, catch up on everything they've done. Yeah, watch it right there. And it really is a good show. It's nice to see everything. And it was good to see John on stage again and the better than ever. So, and, it really did blow my mind. You fit it so well. Just such a powerful voice. So go watch all the Crystal Lake stuff. Make sure you leave those comments about our boy John. Make sure you show him what it is because he's really killing it. So yeah,
Thank you, guys. America, I want to say thank you to you guys. You guys are doing amazing. I appreciate all your hard work. And I want to say to Japan, Otsukare sama desha. Arigatou gozaimasu.
beautiful. Well, I'll talk to you here soon, John. Peace, man.
Y'all take care, guys.
Yeah, peace. Beautiful. Thank you, man.